Good morning, everybody. My name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Thursday morning. It's another hot, sticky day ahead here in Rochester, United Kingdom. So I've woken up this morning and it's absolutely boiling inside this flat. It's like a sauna. It's boiling, and understandably, you're going to want to keep all your windows open and that. And during the day, right, noise, I understand that you can't stay in a flat like this without the windows open. You're going to hear noises, you're going to hear loads of noises, and I can understand that. I can really understand that. I can understand that, and I've got no problem with that. But gang stalking and harassment is deliberate noise, deliberate harassment to make you feel horrible, and you get terrorized in your own home. Now you should be able to be in a safe environment and enjoy being in your home, but some gang stalkers make your life miserable. And when you've got more than one set of neighbours trying to upset, invade your peace and make your life miserable, it can be very stressful, especially at night when you're trying to get some sleep. And that's when they hit most, at night time. Night time, when you're trying to sleep. Because sleep deprivation can make somebody very unwell, affect their mental health as well. And that is exactly why they do it. But what I don't understand is that they're making themselves awake and they're keeping their children awake, which is disgusting. It's awful. I'm trying to get my other phone on because it seems to be coming from TikTok. The application TikTok. Also Facebook and Instagram. Right, so I did manage to get some sleep last night. It was very, very hot, and understandably people were going to be up. But you know what I mean? But if you're living in flats, you have to respect your neighbours, you have to respect other people. You can't go around, putting music full blast on at past 11 o'clock and then start banging about like it's daytime, making a racket. There's elderly people, there's people with disabilities, you know what I mean? It's just pure ignorance and just selfishness. And is it one taxi driver said to me, they're just scum. I've been trying to get out of this place for the past 4 years at least. And they escalate it. They do things to upset you, and then they come at you full pelt at different angles, all different sorts of people. I don't even know who they are. I haven't even met them. I've never spoken to the next door neighbours. I haven't. No, I might have spoken to them once in over 2 years. You know what I mean? Like when they get locked out and they need to come in and they press my buzzer because they've lost their key or something. But apart from that, no. I keep myself to myself. I don't let neighbours into my flat. So I don't know these people who are harassing me. I don't know where they've come from. I don't know why they're doing it. I've been harassed and bullied from after the first week I moved in. And I gave my mother my full address and my mobile phone number, and that's when it started. And I gave this address to my mum and my phone number. Then this guy moves in upstairs and I'm harassed from about the 8th day that I've moved into this flat, it starts. The constant noise, the harassment, the I am not my dad. My dad obviously was a violent man. He had been in prison before I was born. I didn't know my dad, did I? Before I was born. My mother did, but I didn't. So last night, I don't know what the hell was going on. It was awful. Absolutely awful. Running around, and it wasn't him upstairs kids, because his kids are white. This is a black family next door to me. So they're mimicking his kids. Gone 11 o'clock at night, running around, screaming, banging, laughing, giggling, putting loud music on. And why are they mimicking his kids? It's not me, is it? I haven't got any children. I'm stuck in here living by myself. All the time I'm getting messages off TikTok like, how's your sleep? This is all being screenshotted, and I'm going to give it to the police because it seems to me it's coming from the next door neighbours. How's my sleep? And they're screaming up and down. Oh, it was awful. It sounded like a zoo. There's a little girl in there. She must be about 4 years old. Not only that, yesterday I went out to get my post and she was painting next door. Painting in this heat. Painting inside their flat in this heat. And the fumes from the paint were coming right across to my door. And last night, obviously, all the paint was drying and the paint smell was coming through the bloody window. The smell of paint. In this heat. Yeah, but they're sleeping in it. It's not me that's sleeping in it, is it? And that makes me wonder why the kids were actually going mental next door, because she'd done some painting. Painting in this heat. I suppose the paint dries quickly, but the smell of paint is awful. So I had to cope with the noise and the smell of paint, and I finally got to sleep about 3 in the morning. 3. So first thing in the morning, 2 minutes ago, Jonathan Marsh, where are you from? Where are you from? It's coming from TikTok. The bullying and harassment. Ignacio, hello. Daniel Dominic. Drink water. Look, honestly, you couldn't make it up. A dog drinking water. They've sent me a gift of a dog drinking water. You couldn't make it up. How are you doing? It's been a while. 3:19 a.m. in the morning. Hey, beautiful. Haven't you drink enough water? 3:20 in the morning. Good morning, my love. Is that how you treat someone you love? Keeping them awake all night and making them feel ill? Is that how you treat somebody, though, is it? They're gang stalkers. They don't even know me. They never met me. I love you. I mean, what the effing hell? They're mad. They're mad, but honestly, this was going on all night last night. and that noise next door. And all that's next door is a woman with a couple of teenage boys and a young girl. So the guy upstairs has gone out to work. I expect the Ford Mondeo from last night parked outside Costa Coffee is gone because I don't drive a car and it's not mine. The Ford Mondeo, the replica of Levi Bellfield, the serial killer who raped and murdered girls and women, has probably gone from Costa Coffee. And I was watching a film last night on Netflix. I don't know if I can get it up. A film on Netflix with Sigourney Weaver called Copycat. A copycat serial killer.
That is the point. You dragged me into this. You're supposed to be protecting me, and that man is in and out of here.
What are you doing?
I'm checking the bed.
Please,
okay? That man is in and out of here whenever he feels
Look,
like it.
we got here as quickly as we could, okay? Fortunately, we got here before there was...
Yes, why is that? Why did you come to my rescue so fortuitously, huh? What?
Copycat killer.
There was a note, wasn't there, at the gas station? I was right. What did it say? You think the guy's been...
No one believes me. Nobody understands. But if you know about Levi Bellfield and Levi Bellfield's cars, and also Ian Huntley's cars, he had a little red car. Ian Huntley had a little red car which he drove two girls' bodies and disposed of them in a little red car. And then the delivery drivers that come to my flats with Levi on their t-shirt, Levi, and he has got a replica upstairs of one of Levi Bellfield's cars that he raped women in. And obviously he's in the same prison as Ian Huntley, who murdered Jessica. Jessica Chapman, was it, and Holly Wells. Ian Huntley. Do prisoners have access to mobile phones in prison? Do they have access to the internet? I don't have a clue. So first thing in the morning, we are bugged by, someone that's awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. I can only imagine it's someone in Australia. I was harassed and bullied by an Australian guy. So I haven't got a clue. It could be multiple people. It could be like a separate stalker on their own and a load of other people. It's you know what I mean? I just don't know. But I got to bed. And it is hot. You get up, you just put a t-shirt on in this flat, and I'm sweating buckets. And I understand it. There is no what do you call it? I've forgotten what you call it. I've got fans. I've got 3 fans, but they're like recycling warm air. And it must be hard for kids in flats to go to sleep. I can understand that. There's no garden. They're stuck on a balcony. I mean, I took a phone call from my son, right? And he's got a house and a garden. One of my sons has got a house and a garden. He said, I'm just going into my house. And he was going into his house. I'm stuck in a flat with a small balcony. Right. And everything to upset and annoy and make you feel inadequate and you feel all bad and horrible. And you're going on about my looks right, sending me hello beautiful, hello pretty, da 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 da, and you know I've got 240,000 likes on my TikTok, and people don't like videos if they don't like them, you know, and I'm not going to stop doing videos because of a jealous prick. You know, I'm being followed around the field and up and wherever I go and annoyed and harassed, right? And I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I will keep carrying on because this is what they want. They want you to stop. They want you to be stuck in your flat, isolated, and they want you to get so miserable you think, oh, I can't stand this anymore. So I get a phone call, I'm just going into my house. Well, you're lucky. Not everybody in a lifetime owns a house. I never will. My ex-husband's got a house with 2 gardens. What are they trying to do? You know, I've got this, I've got that. Yeah, but you're miserable because you're harassing, annoying me. You're not happy because you wouldn't have to show off to somebody else. If you were happy inside your own being, right, you would be happy with what you've got and you wouldn't feel the need to go and keep on at somebody else. I've got this, I've got that. You're not happy with yourselves. You're not. Because someone that's happy, like me, right, doesn't go into somebody else's profile and start putting them down. You have a positive vibe, you say, you know, you either shut your mouth and watch the live stream, or you give the creator positive energy. You're in their live stream, you're supporting them. You're not supposed to be in there degrading them and giving them hatred. And why are you doing that? Because you're not happy with yourself. Why don't you do a TikTok and do some creation? Because you're frightened that you'll get what you're doing to somebody else. You're frightened of the criticism. You're frightened someone's going to take the piss out of what you look like. So the best way to make yourself feel better is to do it to someone else before they do it to you. Isn't it? Someone that's nice is helpful and positive. Someone that's horrible bullies, belittles, and does nasty things to people. No one's proud of what you're doing. They're laughing at you because it's sad. It's a sad thing to do to anybody. Keep on at them every day. Hello, beautiful. Hello, pretty. Because you think that's going to upset them and trigger them off. You're a sad idiot. You're a sad waste of space. Life is short. We all die. Nobody's famous. When you die, somebody else gets famous, and then someone else, and then you're all forgotten about, and no one remembers you anyway. I mean, we're in the year 2025. In the year 4025, no one will remember any of us. Who the fuck was that? So get a grip of yourself. Enjoy the moment and leave other people alone. Simple. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. On this day in 1483, Richard III started his 2-year reign. He was the last British king to die in battle, and the first to have his own parking space.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. It's 8:37 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Thursday, the 26th of June.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook?
Right now in Rochester, it's 18 degrees Celsius with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has showers, with a high of 25 degrees and a low of 14 degrees.
Roll on some showers and cooler weather. Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
What happens to a cat that hunts too much? They get placed under mouse arrest.
And Alexa, which celebrity was born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 26th of June include Ariana Grande, Aubrey Plaza, Jacob Elordi, Paul Thomas Anderson, and Jason Schwartzman.
Look, believe it or not, guys, what I'm doing is very brave, okay? To actually show who I am, where I am, what I've been through is brave. I don't care what anybody else is saying. And the problem is, these people, when they look at me, you know what I mean? They're ashamed of themselves. They want to hide me away so no one knows. Right? So they pretend it's coming from somewhere else, someone else, because they don't want to face the truth. So they act stupid, they act silly, they're nasty to me, they're horrible, and I can understand that, right? I can literally understand that. But this needs to come out, this abuse needs to stop, and the perpetrators are still harassing me. They're still on at me, still bullying and harassing and getting away with what they've done, and it's got to stop. On the phone to me, like, oh, what they did to me, it doesn't fucking matter. It does. They aren't ashamed of what they've done. The ones that have physically abused me, sexually abused me, they're not ashamed of what they've done. They're still allowed to carry on and do it. Yes, some of my perpetrators have got houses while I'm stuck in a flat. It's disgusting. What has happened to me is absolutely vile and disgusting. And to get people gloating and saying I've got this and I've got that, and they've hit me, they've sexually assaulted me, is absolutely outrageous. So they'll continue to hurt and try and destroy me. And, you know, every time I reported a perpetrator to the police, you know, I'm the one that has lost my home. I'm the one that's got homeless. And they're just literally fucking laughing. Right? And I've had enough of it. I've had enough. You know what domestic violence victims suffer. Some of them are murdered. You know, murdered. Right? So I've got exes that just won't fucking leave me alone. On and on and on. And even using other people to try and get to me because they're a bloody coward. Using other people. You know, partners using your children as weapons. Even when they're adults. When your kids have grown up, using them as weapons against you because they're a coward. They don't want the truth to come out, and it's so much easier to silence you, isn't it? Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
In Britain at a faster rate than anywhere else in Europe, including the old Eastern Europe. Do you see an advert for that vodka and think, do you know what? I've got to get myself down to Waitrose or Sainsbury's or Tesco and pick up a bottle of Smell. Seriously? Talk about that with you, James, in just a moment. But Daniel's in Birmingham, been hanging on the line to talk about AI or the idea of a chat GPT A&E. Got that. Daniel, your view of it. Good morning.
So, ChatGPT, I would trust with my children's life.
Oh, right. Why do you say that with such conviction?
So, 2 years ago, my son basically was displaying various symptoms and had a lot of medical problems going on.
Do you mind me asking what symptoms? Sorry.
So, he had extreme tiredness, he had a lot of blood tests that were out of kilter, and basically he was just very unwell. Right. So, he was under the care of a doctor. They were running various blood tests, doing various diagnostics, and were effectively stumped. They had absolutely no clue that what was going on. Kept doing more and more tests, which were, more money each time for the NHS.
Yes.
I went home, we had a copy of the letters that the doctors always send out with all the blood test results. Went on to ChatGPT, typed in all his symptoms, alongside all his blood test results. So I was able to put in conclusive data that basically set out what the issue was, and I asked it very clearly to provide potential diagnosis. Came up with lymphoma. So I was able to...
How long did it take for that to happen? Within seconds?
Yeah, within seconds.
Right,
Like literally within 1 minute of me putting it in.
Okay.
I was able to go back to his doctor and say, have we explored this option? Because I said, bear with me, I said, ChatGPT
Oh, my God.
has suggested this.
Oh, I
And
see
the
where this
doctor
is going to
said,
go. Yeah, go on.
the doctor said, I haven't really thought about that at this point, but he said, I'm going to run a test for it. He did,
Oh, my God.
and it came back. So he did have lymphoma, and he's full remission now. He got treatment very quickly, and the care he got was absolutely amazing.
Sorry,
But
how old
getting-
is the boy? How old is your lad?
Now he's 18, but you know, this was 2 years ago, and you know, just being able to get to that point where,
Wow.
you know, we got that diagnosis from ChatGPT, which was 2 years ago, and it's come along so far since then, and you can imagine what it's doing now.
Do you could we say it saved your son's life?
It's hard to know that, isn't it, in hindsight? It is. You know, the doctors might have got there in the end. It might have been 3 months later. It might have affected his treatment, made his treatment harder, more aggressive. I don't know. But it got to where it needed to get to and, you know, gave us the tools. And I think that's the key, isn't it? It's a tool in the armoury of these doctors and stuff. It shouldn't be the end product, but it should be something that, you know, is able to flag potential issues and say, yes, you need to see a doctor now. I mean...
All right. Give it my best. Fantastic. You won't hear a stronger ad than that for it, I don't think. Daniel, thank you. Talking about ads, what about ads for alcohol? James in Hampstead. Do we need them banned from the box? Good morning.
I think it's utterly absurd. Firstly, the alcohol companies are well ahead of the government because you can just about get virtually now every single brand as a zero alcohol drink.
Yeah.
Right, so what, you're going to ban Budweiser or Carlsberg advertising when they're actually selling an alcohol-free drink? How's that ever going to work? Part one. And part two is the humour of adverts. For example, the Budweiser advert where they go, "What's up?" Yeah, it's
Oh, do it again. You didn't do that very well. Come on, give me the microphone.
"What's up?"
I remember that vividly. Yeah, that's right.
You know, so there's comedy associated with some of the advertising. My son's 13 years old. He doesn't look at the advert as a Budweiser advert. He just goes around school going, "What's up?"
God, it's been a while since I've heard that. My best wishes to your boy. Don't let him on the bud. Yes, yeah. James, thank you. Coming up after the news, as report after report talks about the impact that COVID had on child's emotional health, there's a new global podcast that will tackle it, including one of Global's, or LBC's I should say, biggest names. But who? Find out after these headlines. 8:45, LBC News. Thomas Watts.
Number 10's holding talks with Labour backbenchers threatening to rebel against planned welfare reforms. The head of the CIA has claimed US strikes on Iran severely damaged its nuclear site, and hundreds of people have reported pancreas problems after taking weight loss jabs. LBC weather, rain clearing through the morning, then drier and brighter, a high of 25 degrees.
LBC Travel, I'm Joanne Webb. Still lots of problems on the underground. There are minor delays now on the Hammersmith and City, Jubilee, Metropolitan and Northern Line, but the Piccadilly line has severe delays between Acton Town and Cockfosters, and then minor delays on the rest of the line. Also on the trains, Gatwick Express services remain delayed by about half an hour, and also Thameslink and Southern trains on that stretch between Brighton and Gatwick Airport are delayed by about 20 minutes. The M4's very busy, westbound at Junction 89 at Maidenhead, that's where a car's broken down, and also the western stretch of the M25 very busy from junction 13 at Staines to 10 at the A3 anti-clockwise, and delays on the A1 both ways to Apex Corner. The traffic lights aren't working.
This is LBC.
The British Red Cross is here to welcome.
So that was Nick Ferrari as in the car, Nick Ferrari on LBC Radio. And I've just turned that off now, and I've been going through my messages on TikTok whilst I've been doing this video. First thing in the morning after I've had a really bad night. Now remember that this persons are stalking me, so they know that I've had a particularly bad night. So Dr. David Samadi is asking me how I am, and so is somebody else. And where are you? Where are you? Last night there was a car parked outside the Rochester Riverside office with the number plate CLA, Chelsea Liart, possibly. The initial standing for Chelsea Liart, CLA. This is Rochester, it's not London. So there you go. It's coming from TikTok. It most definitely is. There must be somebody that's got a lot of money in TikTok that has got enough time and money to waste sending cars out with these stupid number plates on them. And it happened at my old address as well, harassing me with car number plates. And that's something else they do, as well as the noise nuisance. Right, so I'm going to go now. I'm going to upload this. Ignacio is asking me, Crystal, how I'm doing. And considering I went to bed late and the stress, I'm up and at it. See you later.